Well, greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome back, and happy Halloween once again. Before we get into this bonus upload, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. My merch is displayed directly under this video in a little icon right under the video, or at the channel's homepage in the store. Also, Dogman, Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe, click the like button, and please leave a comment. It really does help, and it definitely matters. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's upload, shall we?
Happy Halloween, everyone. Well, I am at the cemetery where my daughter and her friends saw the Dogman. Where her boyfriend lives is right down the road over here. I'll show you guys in a minute. And that's where the picture of the Dogman came from. Now, people might be thinking, cemetery? How big is this cemetery? Well, it's acres, and it's got 3 ponds, a stream, and just a set of woods. It's absolutely huge. I'm standing on a top hill, and I'll just kind of pan around to show you how big it is. But I want to show you guys where they saw it and share the picture. Again, I'll break it down, where everything happened, and explain everything. It's very interesting. I'm trying to convince my youngest daughter to not come with me at night when I want to come back here at night and see if I can catch it. But she wants to come with me, and I don't want her to come with me. So I'm going to quick pan around so you can see how big this cemetery really is. So the cemetery, this is pretty much where I just turned the camera around. The cemetery goes on that way. Panning. There's the road. All right, my daughter's boyfriend's house is down that road right there where that yellow house is, on the corner there. His house is down there. There's woods that go all around this place. It's just absolutely huge. There's my car. There's one of the ponds, and this is the area where they saw the Dogman. So I'm gonna walk and explain everything. So I really don't condone I don't condone drinking for kids, and I don't condone use of marijuana, but I know kids are kids. And I told my daughter, if you're ever to do anything, just be honest with me and let me know. Well, she doesn't like drinking, but she partakes in the herbal remedies. And she said, Daddy, we were down here in this kind of, I just came up from there. We were down in here in this little spot, and we were hanging out, and there was, I think, my daughter, her boyfriend, 2 other girls, and another guy, like 5 of them, just hanging out. And they were over here. They were sitting right here. And they said that they had heard this kind of howl and whatever, panting. Just Just going to show you a little more of the area. And so they heard this panting and whatnot, and they were sitting right there. So then they were like, wow, what's that? Well, over here is where they heard it, across the pond. Now, what they saw, because it was a moonlit night, it was summertime. This is last year, not this past summer, but last summer. And they saw what they thought was a human, but then they realized from the silhouette, because they really couldn't, that it had a dog-like head. And my daughter has always given me crap for me believing in the Dogman. She's like, you know, she believes in the paranormal. She kind of, something's moving over there. Oh, just a squirrel. She believes in Bigfoot, but just can't fathom a Dogman. So she says, you know, Dad, you're weird, yada yada. So until this experience. Well, she tells me, she comes home and she's like, I gotta talk to you. And I'm like, okay, what's up, bud? And she tells me, and she's like, they're real. I can't believe they're real. And I was like, I didn't make what I saw up in 1994. You know. And she goes, I'm sorry for doubting you. And I'm like, yeah, that's okay, bud. And so then she tells me the story. So I'm just kind of taking a walk to show you. Ow. Just got bit by a horsefly. To show you the area. Sorry about that. Look how cool that is. I mean, this cemetery is absolutely huge. So she then starts to tell me everything. And she's like, we were down there, we heard the silhouette, and everything kind of went really quick, Dad, but we saw this silhouette of this bipedal dog running through the gravestones. And I'm like, what? She goes, and it just ran toward the back end of the cemetery where I am now. And she said, so as we're watching this thing, we are kind of freaked out, and we back up against the wall thing of the catacomb, and we try to like be inconspicuous and everything. And I'm like, okay. She says, we see it run through the gravestones and it heads out to these woods. Well, as you can see, I'm just surrounded by woods and a cemetery. So she then says, all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but maybe a minute goes by. And she says, we start to see these lasers, like the laser pointers, Dad, but they were green. They weren't red, like the ones we have for our cat. And I'm like, green? And she's like, yeah, bright green. And I bring out my rifle and I turn on my beam, and she's like, yeah, just like that color. And I'm like, wow, really? And she said, yeah. She said it was really, really freaky. They thought they had seen some people or a couple of people, I don't know how many, running the way the Dogman went, but they couldn't be sure because they were scared, first of all, because they were down here partaking in herbal supplements, and they didn't want to get in trouble by local law enforcement, because our local law enforcement are they are a military armed small town police force that really, the majority of them got picked on in school, so that's why they're cops now. And I'm not saying that about all police officers, because I know a lot of really nice police officers. I'm saying about my town's police officers. So they're backed up against that back wall as this thing's running towards here. And they then truck up that hill and take off toward her boyfriend's house. Well, this area, I'm going to show you where it all took place. There's even deer out here. Beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, though. I mean, I've never seen such a prettier cemetery. There's movement over the woods here. Probably a squirrel or a little bird. Nothing major. So anyway, everything. They're sitting here and they start to witness what's going on. This area is where they see the Dogman action. Sorry about the jogging of the camera. So in this area here is where the Dogman was running. So they're sitting now. Right there is the stream on the other side here. So it would have been around here somewhere, just in this area. Okay, and they're sitting there and they see this thing run this way very quickly, very, very quickly. And it just runs through here just the way I just came and back into the woods where I went. And that's their experience. They didn't see people. They didn't see, or they saw the beams. They saw these green beams, but they didn't see who was holding the beams. I believe it was a task force, and I'm going to tell you all why in a minute. So I think it was a task force for the simple fact that one night, and I know how some people feel about Victor, and I know how there's people who believe and people who don't, and people who are on the fence. I'm a believer. When I first heard him and first realized what he was telling me, I was on the fence a little. I'd have to be, it's kind of hard to fathom. But after talking with him and realizing who he is, I really started to realize, hey, this guy's telling the truth. So one night we're talking and he said, he could tell via his computer where tagged Dogman, tagged werewolf are. And he states to me that there is a tagged Dogman in my area of upstate New York. And he starts naming streets. And these streets are right here. Bay Road, which this cemetery is Bay Road Cemetery. He said it's running this way and it goes behind this German restaurant that we have here, and then across Quaker. He has no idea what this area looks like. He's just giving me details of where it is. And I'm like, yeah, there's woods here, there's woods there, there's this, that. And he said, now it's further up bay. It literally ran using the woods in my town to get to the deep foothills of the Adirondacks. Where I live, I'm 5 minutes from the foothills. I can pull out of this cemetery right now and in 3 minutes be to the sign where it says entering the Adirondack State Park. So I'm like, wow, I think about all this and I'm like, there's a tagged Dogman possibly running around my area. Now, even if you don't want to buy into that, I believe that there is, because my kid saw it, her boyfriend, and all these other kids, and you might say, they partook in the herbal medication. Well, no, because, if you've ever partook, you know that even though it's classified as a hallucinogenic, it does not make you hallucinate. So I really truly believe that that they saw this. Now, as time is going by, they keep spotting a Dogman around their house, or his house, where she is hanging out. They've been together for like 3 years. Really good kid. And so they spot it occasionally running through. They'll be playing video games and they'll hear a howl. One night, they could hear the neighbors saying, "What the is that?" when they both heard this howling and their window was open. Couple nights ago, about a week ago, her boyfriend spots something, large gray Dogman, run by the window. And he goes out into his kitchen and he gets a picture of it, which I've shared. I can clearly see it. I know other people have. A few people said they can't see anything. I don't know how you can't. My mom, who is old school, like my mom's 70, she saw the picture and said, "Holy shit, it's right there." I said, "Yeah." So this cemetery is also haunted, by the way. There is a witch who supposedly haunts this. Her name's Abigail West, and the mountain behind me, you probably can't see it, it's called West Mountain, and there's a lot of lore to it. Well, her grave is up there, up on that hill somewhere. Her body is not in that grave. She died on West Mountain, the mountain her family owned, and she was buried there. But when they went to bury her with her family here in this cemetery, they dug her grave up and it was not there. And there's an old basement that their house had burnt down. There's an old basement out there, and people have supposedly spotted her apparition walking around that area. Also, a survivor of the Titanic, this person survived the crash, is buried in here. So it's a very cool cemetery. It's very old, it's very beautiful, it's huge, and a lot of lore to it. And now it's got a resident Dogman. Anyway, just a little short video for Halloween. I hope everyone is staying safe and have a wonderful rest of your Halloween. I'll probably put another upload out in a little bit.
All right, so I know I've showed this picture prior video, but I am just blown away by it. This picture was taken by my daughter's boyfriend. He was playing Call of Duty got up to get a drink, was walking by his window and saw this huge gray Dogman walking through their backyard toward the cemetery. He was like, whoa. Ran out to the kitchen, kind of looked through a window, and he thinks that it must have heard him running, or maybe he clicked the window or something, because when he looked out, it was facing him. And he took a picture. And that's the picture you are now looking at. It's very chilling. Very, very interesting. And with that, my friends, I want to thank you all for tuning in to this Halloween upload. I hope the Great Spirit watches over all of us. May He guide us down that path that, well, we call life. And also, please, stay safe. Have a great night.